So I'm going to have a little look at a stretch with you to stretch out the hamstrings. And this is a great stretch for any of the front position kicks, front pushing kick, front raising kick, axe kick, particularly something like axe kick, crescent kick. But also I want to see what level of flexibility you've got. And this is going to be a good test to what we kind of need you to be doing, your level of flexibility for classes, so you've got a nice aim towards it. Make sure again with this stretch you can do it more relaxed, nowhere near full capacity of stretching cold. You can do it literally any time, but this is a good stretch to do after the lesson, particularly if you finish the class, you're waiting to be picked up, or you're outside the classroom, you get home, whatever, it's still nice and warm. Try this stretch out. So I'm going to show you the 45-degree angle so you can see it a little more clearly. We're going to start, if you can, about 2 shoulder width wide. Okay, I'm sure you can all stand at 2 shoulder width wide. So another half shoulder width that way, another half that way gives you the 2 shoulder width. You can, depending on what's comfortable for you, I recommend keeping the toes pointing forward. If you want them to go out slightly, that's absolutely fine, whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to stretch the hamstrings around the back of the leg here. What we're going to do from here is we're going to bend from the hip. We need to keep the back nice and straight. A lot of people bend. That's fine if you're doing more of a spine stretch rather than a leg stretch. We're trying to stretch the legs here. So the more that we can keep the back straight, the better. So get those shoulders back for the moment. Bend from the hip, and we're just going to see if we can come forward. So we like to break this down to see where you are. So this is going to start at 2 shoulder width wide, and see if you can get towards the floor. So keeping the back up nice and straight. Don't lean forward this way. So you're trying to get your chin on the floor rather than your forehead on the floor. We're going to stretch down and see if we can get our fingertips to the floor. So position 1 is towards the floor. So at least if you can go from here to here, we're getting somewhere. Position 2, we're going to see if we can get our fingertips to the floor. And position 3, we can get a little bit lower, see if we can get our palms to the ground. Where would we like most of our students? We would like to see at a 2 shoulder width wide, we would like to see those hands on the ground, if you can. Now, don't bend your knees. I see a lot of students bending their knees first, placing their hands on, then straightening up. Okay? Please do it this way. Keep the legs straight, keep the knees locked, stretch forward from there. So that's 2 shoulder width wide, 3 positions or 3 stages through the stretch, keeping the back nice and straight as much as possible. It will arch a little bit towards the end as you stretch towards the floor. Is going towards the floor but not touching it. Position 2, see if we can get our fingertips to the floor. Position 3, the position we're aiming for students, so we can get our hands flat on the ground. But don't try and do that immediately if you can't get to that position, starting stages. See if you can from the 2 shoulder width wide. If you're here, take a deep breath, relax, and just see if you can go a couple more inches, hold for 10 seconds. If you can go any more because your body's relaxed a bit more, your legs are relaxed, great. If you can't, just slowly come out of it. At any time in this stretch, if you feel that suddenly this is uncomfortable for you, then simply what I recommend is just turning if you can. So you're basically going to pivot both feet one way. You can often bring the knee down and come out of that position. Okay, slightly slow, quick escape way if you need to. Let's move on now. Let's see if you can do this, the same 3 sequences again, by going towards the floor, touching the floor, palms on the floor, at 1.5 shoulder width, so just slightly wider. So obviously the legs and the stance are short and your body's come up, the ground is now further away, so the stretch is going to be bigger. I recommend only going to the 1.5 shoulder width position if you've got your palms firmly on the ground with a 2 shoulder width wide stretch. So we're now at 1.5 shoulder width wide. Again, 3 steps. Bend from the hips, remember keep the legs nice and straight. Position 1 towards the floor. Position 2 so you can get your fingertips to the floor. Position 3, see if you can keep your palms to the floor and don't bend your knees. Keep your legs nice and straight. And again, once you can get to that position, or that position, or that position, depending on how flexible you are, just hold for 10 seconds. Try to relax. If you can go a tiny bit more, great. Okay, so try 2 or 3 times, two or three little sets of 10 seconds, and see if that helps. Try to relax your breathing as you're stretching through. If you can do that, let's now go to 1 shoulder width, your normal shoulder width position. And again, bending from the hips, keep the back up as straight as you can, so try not to relax the back. If you've got a bit of a sore back, this stretch is still quite good through a nice relaxed curved spine, but that's another stretch. From the hips from here, again bend towards the floor, fingertips to the floor and palms to the floor. keep the legs nice and straight. Okay, so only those people that can do the 1.5 shoulder width stretch, palms on the ground. We don't move on to the 1 shoulder width stretch until we can get our palms on the ground. If you can, for those that can, into 1 shoulder width. If they can get their palms flat on the ground, we're going to go to the hardest one, which is now feet together. Okay, if you're not very flexible, don't go to this one. It's not going to be of any benefit to you yet. You've got to build up. This one, hopefully I'm warm enough to do it. We're going to see if we can get our hands, and our hands are going to go in front of our feet here. So position 1, again, see if we can reach towards the ground, see if we can get our fingertips to the ground, and see just about, not quite. There we go. See if we can get our palms to the ground. Okay, so one quick recap from here. Let me come straight on for you from here. 2 shoulder width wide to start with. Okay, that's our starting position. We're aiming 3 steps, remember, fingertips to the ground, fingertips touching the ground, and then our palms nice and flat. If you've got your palms on, let's say this 2 meter one, or any of the stretches, let's say you're there, that's not palms on the ground, that's your palm. Okay, so you need to make sure you've got that fully flat on the ground before you can then move to the shorter stretches. So 4 stretches, 2 shoulder width wide, 1.5, slightly wider than your shoulders now, 1 shoulder width wide, and then feet together. Okay, try that stretch at home. This is going to be pretty much the one universal stretch you need for all those front on positions and keeping nice long hamstrings. If you're a runner, a cyclist, you may find this stretch particularly good after a run or a cycle. Obviously, don't do it too heavily, nice and relaxed. See if it helps stretch you out a little bit more, and see if that helps improve your flexibility for martial arts as well as cycling. Okay, hope that's enjoyable, something different. Hamstring stretch. Thank you.